For 10 years, he struggled, paid rent, and built a life with the woman he loved, never knowing the truth. She owned the house all along. But just when he thought the betrayal was the worst part, a chilling secret surfaced, one that would turn his entire world upside down. What was the secret? Why did she lie, and what happened next? Sit tight and enjoy. Kelvin reflects on his stable life, his job as a manager at a logistics company, the modest but comfortable house they've rented for over 10 years, and his hardworking wife, Amina. Despite minor financial struggles, life feels steady. However, he begins to notice tension in Amina's behavior, a hidden worry she refuses to share. Kelvin is blindsided when his company announces mass layoffs. He is among those let go, his world crashing as he faces the reality of losing his only income source. Amina assures him they'll find a way to manage, but there's an unusual lack of emotion in her tone that leaves him uneasy. As the rent deadline approaches, Kelvin struggles to find solutions. He begins applying for jobs and even considers borrowing from friends. Out of desperation, he asks Amina for financial help. To his shock, she flatly refuses, citing her own expenses and debts. The landlord, Mr. Dyke, shows up with a stern warning about their overdue rent. Kelvin begs for more time, promising to pay soon. But Mr. Dyke's patience is thin, and he warns of eviction if the payment isn't made within a week. A lawyer visits with an official eviction notice. Kelvin, desperate to buy time, convinces the lawyer to give him one more week. As he explains the situation to Amina, her calm demeanor irritates him. Why doesn't she seem as worried as he is? Kelvin swallows his pride and reaches out to friends and family for assistance. Each attempt ends in disappointment. He considers selling some of their belongings, but Amina insists they'll work it out, further confusing him. While cleaning the house, Kelvin accidentally stumbles upon an envelope addressed to Amina. Inside, he finds a deed to the house with her name listed as the owner. Shocked, he confronts her, demanding an explanation. Amina admits she owns the house but refuses to explain why she kept it a secret. Furious and betrayed, Kelvin storms out. He spends the night at a friend's place, replaying the betrayal in his mind. News of Amina owning the house spreads through their close-knit neighborhood. Gossip and judgmental stares follow them wherever they go, adding strain to their already tense relationship. Despite Kelvin's repeated attempts to understand Amina's secrecy, she remains tight-lipped. Frustrated, he decides to dig into her past, hoping to uncover answers about the life she's hidden from him. Kelvin begins digging into Amina's background. He contacts her old friends and visits her hometown, seeking answers. He uncovers fragments of her life before their marriage but struggles to connect the dots. Meanwhile, Amina grows more withdrawn, sensing his growing suspicion. Kelvin learns from one of Amina's childhood friends that she received a large sum of money from an unknown benefactor before they got married. He suspects this money may be tied to her ownership of the house and confronts her again, but Amina evades his questions. Mr. Dyke returns with the lawyer, giving them a final notice. He reminds Kelvin that eviction is inevitable unless they pay the full rent. Amina remains oddly composed, further infuriating Kelvin, who feels she's hiding something critical. Kelvin reconnects with a mutual friend from their early years of marriage. The friend hints at Amina's struggles before their union and suggests she might have had a reason for her secrecy. Kelvin's curiosity deepens, though he's unsure whether to trust Amina anymore. During a late-night argument, Amina reveals that she inherited the house from her estranged uncle, who had raised her after her parents died. However, she admits she hid the truth because she feared it would change how Kelvin viewed her independence. Amina explains that owning the house wasn't easy. The inheritance came with debts and emotional scars from her difficult childhood. Kelvin begins to see the weight she's carried alone for years but still struggles to forgive her for the deception. Armed with the truth, Kelvin and Amina confront Mr. Dyke and the lawyer. Amina presents proof of ownership, shocking both men. While Mr. Dyke grudgingly accepts the truth, the lawyer questions why they allowed the misunderstanding to persist for so long. Word spreads quickly that Amina is the true owner of the house. The neighborhood is divided, some praise her for her resilience, while others criticize her for letting Kelvin pay rent all these years. The couple becomes the talk of the community. Kelvin's trust in Amina remains shattered. Though he admires her strength, he cannot shake the betrayal he feels. Amina tries to bridge the gap, but Kelvin begins to wonder if their marriage can survive this revelation. Kelvin's family gets involved, demanding an explanation from Amina. Tensions flare as they accuse her of exploiting Kelvin's hard work. Amina defends her choices, but the confrontation leaves her feeling isolated and misunderstood. Kelvin's investigations uncover more about Amina's past. Her uncle had been a strict and abusive guardian, leaving her with deep emotional wounds. Owning the house became both her safety net and her burden, as it symbolized freedom from her painful past. Kelvin begins to view her secrecy in a new light but still struggles with forgiveness. Amina chooses to focus on their future instead of engaging in constant arguments. She begins making changes to the house, repainting and fixing broken parts, symbolizing her desire to rebuild their life. Kelvin observes her efforts but feels too conflicted to join in. One of Amina's distant relatives visits, adding another layer to the story. The relative reveals that the house had been a subject of contention within the family, and Amina had to fight hard to secure her rightful inheritance. Kelvin starts to see her strength in a new light. Kelvin seeks legal advice to understand the implications of Amina's ownership. The lawyer advises him to focus on reconciliation, as Amina's ownership is airtight. This advice forces Kelvin to confront whether his pride is worth losing their marriage. The community begins taking sides in the couple's dispute. Some neighbors show support for Amina, while others sympathize with Kelvin. Their home becomes a focal point of gossip, creating even more tension between them. Amina makes the first move toward reconciliation by preparing a special dinner for Kelvin. She openly apologizes for her secrecy, acknowledging the hurt it caused. Kelvin softens slightly but admits that healing will take time. Kelvin takes a long walk through the neighborhood, reflecting on his life and Amina's decisions. He begins to question his own pride and whether his anger is rooted in genuine betrayal or his bruised ego. Kelvin stumbles upon Amina's journal, where she wrote about her struggles, fears, and dreams. Reading her thoughts helps him understand her better, and he starts to empathize with her choices, though the pain of betrayal lingers. Kelvin's family invites Amina over for a conversation. She shares her story, revealing the emotional toll of her upbringing. While some family members remain skeptical, others begin to appreciate her resilience and the sacrifices she made. Kelvin decides to meet Amina halfway by joining her in the renovations. Working together on the house sparks small moments of connection, reminding them of the bond they once shared. Though not fully healed, Kelvin begins to feel a glimmer of hope for their marriage. Kelvin and Amina sit down for an open conversation. Kelvin admits how much her secrecy hurt him, and Amina explains her fear of losing his respect if he knew the truth earlier. Their conversation, though emotional, marks a turning point as they begin rebuilding trust. To address the gossip surrounding their situation, Amina invites some of the neighbors for a small gathering. She shares her story, earning sympathy from some and silent judgment from others. The meeting helps clear the air but also deepens the couple's resolve to focus on themselves. Amina reveals to Kelvin her dream of turning the house into something greater, a safe haven for women facing struggles like hers. Kelvin begins to see her vision and realizes that her secret was driven by more than fear, it was tied to a purpose larger than herself. Kelvin finally lands a temporary job as a logistics coordinator. While it's not as prestigious as his previous position, it gives him a sense of direction. The small victory boosts his confidence and helps ease the tension in their home. Kelvin discovers an old letter Amina wrote to him years ago but never gave him. In it, she expressed her fears about their future and her struggle with trust. The letter helps him see her vulnerability and begins to soften his heart further. The couple takes a day off from their problems to focus on themselves. They go to the local market, cook together, and reminisce about the early days of their relationship. The shared laughter brings a sense of normalcy and sparks a glimmer of their former bond. Amina's dream of turning the house into a safe haven begins to take shape when she partners with a local women's organization. She shares her vision with Kelvin, and he surprises her by offering to help with logistics and planning. Kelvin's insecurities resurface when a neighbor suggests he was blind not to notice the truth about the house. Though Amina reassures him, he struggles with feelings of inadequacy and questions his role in their marriage. To celebrate their renewed partnership and the first steps toward Amina's vision, the couple organizes a housewarming event. The gathering is small but meaningful, symbolizing a new chapter in their journey together. During the housewarming, a few outspoken neighbors challenge Kelvin and Amina, questioning their choices and relationship. The couple stands united for the first time in months, defending their decisions and showing the community they are stronger together. Kelvin suggests using part of the house as a rental unit to generate extra income. Amina agrees, and they begin planning the renovation together. The project gives them a shared goal and brings them closer as they work side by side. The couple secures their first tenant, a young woman escaping an abusive relationship. Amina's dream begins to take shape, and Kelvin, seeing the impact of her vision, feels a renewed sense of pride in his wife. Kelvin receives good news when his temporary job becomes permanent, with a promotion to supervisor. This achievement boosts his confidence and allows him to contribute more financially, relieving some of the tension in their household. Amina partners with local artisans to expand her project, offering training to women in the community. Kelvin pitches in by helping organize workshops, feeling more aligned with Amina's goals than ever before. One of the neighbors who had harshly judged Amina visits to apologize. She admits that her assumptions were unfair and offers her support for Amina's initiative. The gesture helps mend some of the tension within the neighborhood. Kelvin's family invites Amina and Kelvin for a meeting to apologize for their harsh words during the earlier fallout. Amina accepts their apology, and the couple works to rebuild their relationship with Kelvin's relatives. A representative from a local NGO visits Amina's project and offers funding to help expand her initiative. The grant allows them to renovate the house further and provide more space for women in need, solidifying Amina's dream. Kelvin considers leaving his new job to work full-time with Amina's project. Though hesitant at first, Amina encourages him, and they begin mapping out how they can grow the initiative together. With their partnership stronger than ever, Kelvin and Amina plan a private ceremony to renew their vows. They invite only close family and friends, celebrating their resilience and the new chapter of their lives. The couple officially launches their project, naming it the House of Hope. The first group of women graduates from their training program, and the neighborhood begins to see Kelvin and Amina as a source of inspiration. The House of Hope begins to gain recognition across the community. Women who benefited from Amina and Kelvin's program start spreading the word, inspiring others to seek support. The couple realizes they are building something bigger than they ever imagined. A local businessman accuses Amina of undermining his influence by empowering women. His public criticism brings unwanted attention to the project. Kelvin and Amina must navigate this challenge while staying true to their mission. Amina organizes a community forum to address the businessman's claims. Women from the program share their success stories, winning over skeptics. Kelvin's speech about teamwork and resilience earns applause, strengthening their reputation. A philanthropist, impressed by the forum's success, offers to sponsor their initiative to expand it into nearby towns. While thrilled, Amina and Kelvin grapple with the challenges of managing a larger operation. The expansion brings logistical and financial hurdles. Kelvin finds himself stretched thin, while Amina struggles to maintain the personal touch that made their project unique. Tensions arise, testing their newfound partnership. An old friend visits Amina and reminds her of the passion that drove her to start the project. She shares this with Kelvin, and the couple realizes they need to refocus on their values to overcome the challenges. Amina reconnects with a long-lost cousin who volunteers to help manage the project. The reunion is bittersweet as it forces Amina to confront unresolved pain from her childhood, but Kelvin's support helps her heal. Kelvin takes on a leadership position in the expansion, proving his worth not just as Amina's partner but as an equal contributor to their shared dream. The couple's bond deepens as they celebrate small victories together. With the House of Hope flourishing, the neighborhood begins to change. Women start businesses, children receive better education, and the community starts to thrive. Amina and Kelvin are celebrated as catalysts for the transformation. A national newspaper features Kelvin and Amina's story, calling it a testament to resilience, partnership, and hope. As they read the article together, they reflect on their journey, from secrecy and betrayal to forgiveness and unity. An unexpected visitor from Amina's past, her estranged uncle, arrives. Now an older man seeking reconciliation, he apologizes for his actions and acknowledges her success. While Amina is hesitant, Kelvin encourages her to consider forgiveness, knowing how it shaped her. Amina agrees to meet with her uncle privately. Their conversation is emotional, as he explains his regrets and offers to support her project in any way he can. Though cautious, Amina decides to give him a chance, seeing an opportunity to heal old wounds. Kelvin officially leaves his job to focus full-time on expanding the House of Hope. Though it's a risky decision, Amina admires his dedication. Together, they strategize ways to balance their resources while scaling their initiative. Amina proposes a new project to help children in the community access education and mentorship. Kelvin takes charge of this, organizing workshops and securing partnerships with local schools, further deepening their impact on the neighborhood. A staff member mismanages funds, threatening the credibility of their initiative. Amina feels the sting of betrayal and blames herself for not being more vigilant. Kelvin steps in to reassure her and helps implement stricter financial controls. The businessman who once criticized their project seeks their help for his daughter, who is struggling after leaving an abusive relationship. Kelvin and Amina welcome her into their program, earning the businessman's respect and eventual support. Kelvin and Amina are invited to speak at a regional conference on community development. They share their story, inspiring others with their journey of forgiveness, resilience, and partnership. Their message resonates with many in attendance. Kelvin collapses from exhaustion during one of their workshops. Amina is terrified but remains strong, taking over the responsibilities while ensuring he gets the medical attention he needs. This incident reminds them both of the importance of balance and self-care. The couple celebrates their 15th wedding anniversary by renewing their vows in a simple ceremony surrounded by family, friends, and members of their community. The event marks a moment of reflection and gratitude for how far they've come. Amina launches a scholarship program for young girls in honor of her late parents, providing them with opportunities she never had. Kelvin spearheads fundraising efforts, and together they continue to build their legacy of hope and empowerment. The scholarship program kicks off, with its first recipient being a bright but underprivileged girl from the neighborhood. Amina and Kelvin mentor her personally, seeing her as a symbol of the potential their initiative can unlock in others. A documentary filmmaker approaches Amina and Kelvin, wanting to tell their story. Hesitant at first, they agree, realizing it could inspire more communities. The film highlights their journey from betrayal to forgiveness and the impact of their project. Despite their growing success, Amina starts feeling the weight of leadership and her unresolved traumas. Kelvin notices her withdrawal and encourages her to seek therapy, reminding her that even strong leaders need help. Amina begins therapy and starts confronting her childhood pain and the fears that shaped her decisions. The process is emotional, but Kelvin's unwavering support helps her navigate this path to healing. With funds from the documentary and new donors, the House of Hope undergoes expansion. They add a library, skill training rooms, and more accommodations for women and children. The community celebrates the growth with a grand opening event. Amina and Kelvin are invited to meet with local government officials to discuss scaling their initiative across the region. This recognition boosts their credibility but also brings new challenges as they navigate bureaucracy. The staff member who had mismanaged funds in the past asks for a second chance, expressing remorse. Amina and Kelvin must decide whether to forgive and rehire them or prioritize protecting their growing organization. As their initiative grows, Kelvin begins to question his role. He feels overshadowed by Amina's leadership and wonders if his contributions are meaningful. Amina reassures him, reminding him that their partnership is the foundation of their success. To celebrate the transformation of their neighborhood, Amina and Kelvin organize a community festival. The event brings together families, showcases local talents, and serves as a reminder of what unity can achieve. During the festival, a university professor suggests that Amina and Kelvin establish a leadership academy to train others in community development. Though the idea is daunting, they begin to see it as the next chapter of their legacy. Amina and Kelvin begin laying the groundwork for their leadership academy. They recruit mentors from their community and beyond to provide guidance, hoping to equip the next generation of leaders with the tools they use to transform their lives. As the academy takes shape, Amina and Kelvin struggle to balance their increasing responsibilities with their family life. They realize that their children are growing up quickly and begin making more time for their family amidst their busy schedules. The academy faces challenges in scaling, including finding qualified instructors and maintaining their personal touch. Kelvin's logistical skills become invaluable, and Amina leans on her emotional intelligence to keep the project grounded in its core mission. The government cut some funding to their initiative, threatening the continuation of their expansion. Amina and Kelvin find themselves at a crossroads, but they rally their team, using creativity and determination to secure alternative sources of income. Amina receives a letter from her childhood friend, who has been following her work. The friend shares how much Amina's journey has inspired her to overcome her own hardships. Amina finds this letter healing, reminding her of how far she has come. During a conversation with her therapist, Amina admits that part of her fear in revealing the truth about the house was rooted in her own doubts about being good enough. Kelvin reassures her once again, acknowledging how much she has already given to others. Amina and Kelvin are invited to speak at an international conference on women's empowerment in Europe. While excited, they face logistical challenges, including the stress of leaving the academy temporarily. At the conference, Amina and Kelvin share their story with a global audience. Their speech moves many attendees, and they are approached by several international organizations interested in collaborating with them. The experience boosts their confidence and expands their vision. Back home, Amina and Kelvin reflect on the years of work and transformation. They look at the academy and the thriving community they've helped build and begin discussing what kind of legacy they want to leave for future generations. Amina and Kelvin decide to pass on some of their leadership roles within the House of Hope to younger leaders they've mentored. The decision is bittersweet, but it marks the beginning of a new era for the organization, one that will continue to thrive under new guidance. As Amina and Kelvin step back from daily operations, they officially pass the leadership of the academy and the House of Hope to a new generation of leaders. The change is met with excitement and uncertainty, but the couple is confident they've built a strong foundation for the future. Amina's siblings visit after hearing about her decision to scale back her involvement in the project. They express both pride and concern, But Amina reassures them that the family's future is secure and that she'll always be there for them. Kelvin also reconnects with his family, ensuring they stay close during the transition. Kelvin and Amina host a celebration to mark the success of their initiatives, inviting their old friends, mentors, and the first women they helped. The event is filled with heartfelt speeches, honoring the milestones they've achieved together. The couple sits down together to discuss their future beyond the academy and community projects. They explore new passions and decide to focus on travel and personal growth, allowing themselves the freedom they've longed for. Amina begins a new venture, focused on writing a book about their journey and the lessons they've learned. Kelvin supports her and begins taking photography classes, finding joy in documenting their travels. Their new hobbies help them reconnect on a personal level, enriching their relationship. As Amina's book gains attention, she is invited to speak at international events about her experiences. Meanwhile, Kelvin's photographs of the women they helped become an exhibit, showcasing the power of resilience. The couple feels proud of the far-reaching impact they've had. Years later, Amina and Kelvin enjoy a quieter life, surrounded by the fruits of their labor. They continue to travel, spend time with their children, and reflect on the journey they've taken. The couple realizes that while their impact was significant, their personal growth and healing were just as important. Their children, inspired by the couple's work, begin their own community-focused projects. Amina and Kelvin watch with pride as the next generation carries the torch, knowing their legacy will live on in ways they never imagined. Amina and Kelvin officially retire from their leadership roles in all projects. They feel fulfilled, knowing that they've nurtured others to carry their vision forward. Their retirement marks the end of an era, but their influence remains felt in the community. On the anniversary of their decision to turn their home into the House of Hope, Amina and Kelvin visit the academy. Surrounded by the people whose lives they changed, they realized that the journey they embarked on together was far more than just about a house. It was about building a future filled with hope, compassion, and resilience. As they sit hand in hand, they know that their legacy is more than just a project. It's a living testament to the power of love, unity, and second chances. Now let's talk about the moral lesson of this story. The story of Kelvin and Amina teaches us valuable lessons about resilience, forgiveness, and the power of partnership. Through their journey, we see that secrets and betrayal can be overcome with honesty, empathy, and a willingness to listen. We learn that true strength lies not in hiding our vulnerabilities but in embracing them and seeking help when needed. The couple's transformation from a place of secrecy and mistrust to one of openness and unity serves as a powerful reminder that relationships can be redeemed and that love can conquer even the darkest of challenges. Ultimately, their story inspires us to build bridges, foster community, and hold on to hope, even in the face of adversity. A quick question to you. Imagine your closest loved one hid a massive secret to protect you, like Amina hiding the house did. Would your first reaction be anger, curiosity, or empathy? How would you rebuild trust without losing yourself in the process? Drop your answer in the comment section.